All right, it's Chris over Dixieland Farm, and today I'm going to go over my virtual hangar that I use in my flight sim. So this video has been a long time coming, and I'm finally making it. So a lot of the planes that I fly are general aviation planes, or they are small regional airliners, turboprops. I don't tend to fly jets, and matter of fact, I've actually deleted airplanes out of my hangar that I don't use at all, and that includes an Airbus A321. I just never fly the Airbus, even though I bought a whole video course, like a 30-hour video course on it, and I watched it. It's just a plane I don't enjoy flying, and I think part of the reason is I have very limited time, so I can only fly 30 minutes to an hour at a clip, and those planes are more enjoyed when you're going through the entire procedure, and it's a whole long trip, and it's just not what I do. So um, one of the neat things that I modified in my both my X-planes are the startup screens here change. So that's my airplane in X-plane 12. And here it is as my splash screen as we load up the plane I do fly every once in a while. And this is the Cessna C-172. So this is the Cessna Skyhawk. This is what you would fly if you were learning how to fly, probably at a training school, or you'd fly in the smaller 152. So got the yokes here and the avionics. Uh, Fairly simple. We've got the Garmin 530 GPS and the 430 GPS underneath it, and we have the steam gauges, and we've got the VOR, which is this for radio navigation, not GPS. And I tend to not use the GPS, so I don't really put in um, waypoints and all that kind of stuff into the GPS. I just kind of use it as a map to verify where I am, and I'm usually doing outside VFR, looking outside, figure out where I am, or I'm using the VORs and doing it slant alpha, the old school navigation, not using the GPS. So if we take a look outside, uh, here's the plane. It's a cute little plane. And look, and this is a stock plane too. This comes with the flight sim. So now this aircraft is the low wing aircraft. It is the Grumman Tiger. And I don't fly this aircraft very often at all. Um, it's a little slow, a little faster than the Cessna, but not by much. But the one thing it does do is it climbs very fast. So for a little aircraft, it's also got this canopy. So let's see if I can do it. So you can open up the canopy here. You can't do that during flight, but you can do it on the ground, which is kind of neat. And the reason why I bought this airplane is because this is the airplane that was very common at the local airport where I grew up. And that's because Grumman used to be on Long Island. So I don't think they manufactured them on Long Island, but there were a lot of Grummans on Long Island because there was a Grumman plant in Bethpage. So here's another one of those splash screens where I made the image of the plane that I fly. So this is the Dash 8 that I flew. Another payware airplane. This is the Piper Arrow 3. This is a very cool plane, payware. I did pay for it, and this is the plane that I learned how to fly a complex airplane. And you can also see just the detail. You got the dirt in the rug. You got the hand being worn off the enamel here. This is definitely a cool little plane, and it's a complex plane. So you see, it's got three levers here. So it's got the throttle, the prop speed RPM, so it's a complex airplane, and the mixture. So when I say complex airplane, you can raise the gear. So there's a gear lever right here, and it's got the adjustable prop RPM. The other two airplanes we looked at have a constant speed prop. So outside you can see this little beauty. If I was going to fly a plane in real life, this is probably the one that I would do that I could actually afford. So really cool airplane. So the single prop airplane that I do fly a lot is the Mooney M20R here. So this is a payware aircraft. Beautiful design on it. Just gorgeous here. You can see they definitely spend time on the detail. You got the cracked leather seats. So this is a four-seater airplane. But the thing about this airplane is it goes fast, very fast. Twice as fast as those other planes, if not a little bit faster. Those airplanes kind of poke around 80 to 100 knots max, and this airplane goes 160 to 180 knots. So it's quicker than some of the twin prop airplanes that I have. and it goes so fast, as a matter of fact, that it's actually got little speed brakes here to slow you down. So that's the crazy thing about that. Such a fun, sporty little plane. Love flying it. We got a truck just went through. That happens in an X-plane, by the way. Sometimes trucks just go where they want. So the one aircraft I can definitely say is my favorite airplane in the entire flight sim, and the one that I fly the most is the Piper Twin Comanche. This is an older airplane. Oh, hello there. Hi, how are you, ladies? Thanks for coming by. This is from V-Flight Air. This is a pay-wear aircraft, just like the Mooney was, and it doesn't even have a key. That's how much they trusted you back in the 60s. You can just come here and just turn on everything and just start her up. It's not the fastest airplane, but it is the most fun for me to fly, this twin airplane. It's got a GPS, but I tend to fly it slant alpha, which means that I only exclusively fly it with VOR navigation, or I use the ADF or VFR. I don't use the GPS other than as a moving map, if I use it for that at all. I'm telling you, this is just my favorite airplane in the sim to fly. Oh. All right, let's get back to business. So this is another twin engine aircraft. I'm just a big fan of twin engine aircraft. I just find them so much fun to fly. This is the Piper Cheyenne, and this is a turboprop, so the engine controls are a little more complicated. Um, it's sort of like a little jet, but with a propeller on the outside, right? It actually does not fly that fast. It flies slightly slower than the Mooney, as a matter of fact. So it's not going to gain you any efficiency. This airplane by Carenado is got great detail also. These Carenado planes are not updated for X-plane. They probably never will be, and that's just kind of a shame. These are actually FSX planes that they converted into X-plane. But I still have X-plane 11, so I can still fly it. It looks complicated. It's not that complicated once you get up to this level. Um, Flying twins and airliners, it all makes sense. But because of the speed, I just don't tend to go in it. It's if I'm gonna want to go somewhere fast, I'm going to go in the Mooney, and if I just want to fly a twin engine aircraft, I'm probably going to fly the twin Comanche. But it's still definitely a fun little airplane. I just kind of pretend that I'm a rich businessman and going to meetings, because that's exactly what this airplane was for. That and drug runners, I think. So and beautiful detail and modeling on it. It's kind of a shame, though, that Coronado has just basically abandoned these aircraft, and some of them just can't be updated. There's just custom code in them, so a little bit of a shame, but that's all right. And here's the last of one of my twins is the Cessna 340. Beautiful detail on this plane as well, and also a Coronado plane. It is a six-seater. It is pressurized. It goes up to roughly 180 knots, so it's about the same speed as the Mooney. It does have anti-icing though, so if I was going to fly in cold and wet conditions, this would be the plane to go, and it's also pressurized, so I could fly higher than I would be able with the Mooney or the Piper Comanche. I think the Cheyenne is also pressurized, but since I tend to fly shorter flights, I don't tend to go higher than you would need without oxygen, but still a fun aircraft. I had the digital replica version, and it just never really ran right on my system, and which is a shame because the developer's real active and real passionate about his airplane. So this is a Carenado plane. Also, this one I think does kind of work in X-Plane 12. I think I got it to work, but I think maybe other things about it were a little funky. Maybe Carenado will change their mind, but at the moment, they haven't. So here we are at Asheville Airport here in North Carolina, and this is the Metroliner 3, the Swearinger Metroliner 3. And this is a freeware aircraft. It is a turboprop, and I certainly love this little guy. A lot of fun. I fly it slant alpha. You can come here and actually change it and put a GPS in. If you'd like, you can get radio here, and now there's got a GPS. But I fly it old school, just like the way it would have been back in the 70s and 80s. So no GPS at all, and I tend to hand fly this. It's a lot of fun, and it's a 20-seat. See if we can break off there. There we go. It's a 19-seat airliner, and the reason why it's 19 seats is if it's 20 seats, they require a flight attendant. So probably not the most comfortable airplane to fly in. There's also a cargo version, but this is the one that I use. I use the passenger version, and we just do small little trips on it. Again, here with my custom splash screens. Isn't that neat? Kind of reminds me and makes me fall in love with all my different airplanes that I fly when I see all these different shots, opposed to seeing the same shot that's stock, every time when I load up. And here is the LES, or no, this is the Coronado Saab. You can hear passengers, which is pretty cool. So let's go travel into the flight deck here. This is I think it's about 35-seat airplane. Let's take a look outside real quick. So I'm flying American Eagle here. Both the Metro 3 and this airliner go about 250 knots, tend to go about 15,000 feet in the air. You can go higher, but that's what we tend to do. And got a much bigger control panel here. A lot more stuff is going on. This is a lot of fun to fly this plane, and it is a shame that it is right now not working inside of X-Plane 12, but that is okay. So the splash screen here is kind of giving away what some of my favorite airplanes are, the Dash is being one of them. And of course, this is the flight sim. This is not a stock picture, which is pretty neat, and it's not a real life picture. This is what you would actually see in the flight sim. I just took a screenshot as I was flying. So you'll see a lot of the Dash 8s, you'll see a lot of twin Comanches, and you'll see a lot of Mooney shots in my splash screens here. So here we are at Charlotte International in the Q300. This is the Dash 8 Q300. Now I fly the Q400 most of the time, so this is actually a new airplane for me. It is freeware, and you can tell, due to its basic chunkiness and lack of, good textures and modeling and things like that. But still, it is completely functional. It's a fun little airplane to fly, and the difference between the Q300 and 400 is this is a 50-seat airplane roughly, and the other one is an 80-seat airplane. But still, it's a lot of fun to fly, and with the Q300, you can get into a lot smaller airports. So, I mean, this is huge, but you can land in a 4,000-foot runway, no problem. So it's a little bit bigger than the Saab that we had before, but not by much. So the Saab handles 35 people. This handles about 50 people. And you can see we even got guys. So here we are in my favorite airliner, and that is the Dash 8 Q400. So this is by FlyJ Sim. And you can see we've already got low FPS here. I've got to change our line of distance just so we can bump it up slightly. And even still, wow, we're just killing it here, but that's okay. So, I mean, just the detail here. You saw the screens blinked like they should. It's got custom FMS that works exactly like the real airplane. The texture work is fantastic. The eye to detail is fantastic. So just a lot of fun. I mean, it's even got a working toilet over here. If I can find the handle, there we go. So here's the toilet, and you can even flush it wherever the flush is. I don't know. Yeah, good. So yeah, this is my favorite airliner by far. Holds about 80 people. Still, it's a turboprop, so it's got some quirks. It's noisy, real hands-on airplane, which is why I love flying it. It's not kind of a set and go. You have to stay pretty engaged to make everything work here. And let me show you actually the one jet I do fly. Is the MD-80. And it is a lot of fun. It's a little more hands-on than your typical jet would be, which makes it fun. This is the version that comes with X-Plane. Actually, this is like a modified free version, but it's basically the model that comes with X-Plane. There is a pay-wear model, but I just don't fly jets too often. That it just wasn't something that I really needed. But you can hear how loud it is. It's got the brow windows, which is, you know, uh, real neat. And it holds about 150 people, I think. So texture work for free is fine. And me rocking the Continental again. There's Charlotte in the background. So yeah, if I'm going to fly a jet, this is the jet I fly, and this is it. Like I said, a little more hands-on, a little tricky to fly, which makes it fun, which is why I tend to fly it. So it's just a joy once you learn how to do it. And look at X-Plane 11, almost as good as X-Plane 12 with all the add-ons here. This is enhanced skyscapes I'm using. Well, everybody, hope you enjoyed the tour of my virtual hangar here. You can see it's kind of split between general aviation and commercial aviation. A lot of fun flying all these different planes. I've had more planes that I've actually purchased, but I just got rid of them. I deleted them. I don't fly them. These are the ones that I fly. And I tend to fly the Mooney or the Twin Comanche most of the time, or I'm flying the Dash 8 most of the time. I do go into the Metro 3 and the Saab and the Dash Q300 now and again, and same thing with the MD-80. I get into these patterns while I fly them a bit, but then I go back to those basic 3 aircraft the most. Those are the ones that I tend to fly, and so I'm either flying uncontrolled by myself in the Mooney or the Twin Comanche, just poking around, doing my own thing, or I am flying these little small routes into small regional airports, which is more fun than flying into the big airports. To me, online, most people don't do any of that. They tend to fly big airport to big airport, all controlled with a controller on VATSIM. And me, I'd rather go to the smaller airport, even if it's uncontrolled, and do the procedures there. That's me. Love it when there is a controller, but I don't need it. That is the tour of my virtual hangar. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care.